Hello, I am Dave Mack and welcome to my Road to Glory TEW9 save. Any of you who are not aware of what the Road to Glory idea is, it's very similar to the local to global that we've seen before on TEW9. However, this time what we basically do is we take an unknown 18-year-old user character and you drop them into a new promotion, and basically your goal is to get a 100 rated main event match in a big, huge or Titanic sized company. So what we're basically doing is we're going to try and take a complete rookie and take him into the top as soon as you can, as quick as we can get through this playthrough. It's a really difficult kind of challenge. It kind of takes a lot of the difficulties of a local to global as we start a new company, and you're also kind of got one eye on yourself to try and boost up your own skills along the way. So it is a kind of pretty tricky challenge. I've tried it before. I don't always succeed because it is quite difficult and it becomes a bit of a grind sometimes. So hey, welcome to the grind. Enjoy it with me. I've just started this save. We are in 1998 in the Too Sweet database. So we are at the height of the Attitude Era. So we've got WWF and WCW, who are kind of battling it out at that very top end. However, we have me. I've set up Clash Wrestling just because I was listening to the Clash while I was doing this, and I quite like the Clash. So we have Clash Wrestling there, which has been set up in the southwest of the US. That'll be one of my first tips when we're doing this. Try and stick to somewhere that has a fairly decent following as far as wrestling goes. Somewhere like the US is always going to be pretty easy to do because it's so vast, and around Canada, etc. And also I know all the wrestlers around this kind of place a lot more, so that's a really good place to start there. We are going to be running 2 events a month because there's not a lot of popularity can be gained by doing more, and it ends up costing you a lot of money, and this is where you really do struggle. We start with $1,000 in the bank immediately. We are already in debt, and I've not even put on a show yet. We're only a few weeks in, I've done 10 days and I'm already 10 grand in debt. So this is where we've really got to kind of grind really quickly to get a bit of popularity, and then we can start kind of moving up. As far as grinding away, I've got my first event coming up, which is Train in Vain. Again, just because I was listening to the Clash and I like the Clash, I've just gone with that theme. We are doing free tickets to this show. So free tickets to come and see our new boy, Terry Chango. Here he is. This is our 18-year-old rookie that is coming through the ranks. If you go on the TEW website, onto the TEW forum rather, there is a lot of people who are doing this challenge currently. It sets out all of the parameters of which you set up your wrestler with, so what skills they have and what they can't have, because you've got to kind of cap it so we're not putting someone like Stone Cold Steve Austin as an 18-year-old into the middle of the wrestling world. So he's got a lot of upside. He's looking like a pretty good talent already. I'm enjoying that. Pretty good down with the microphone skills. Hopefully they'll end up all right. I do like having the scouting on, so we've got there, but we've got Terry Chango, who ultimately I put into AI to look like an Undertaker rocker. I think he looks sort of like that, but you know what? If we start using ChatGTP for these things, I could get bogged down too long. I quite like the look of him. He's a bit smouldering. He's got a little bit of rock and roll about him. So this is our boy Terry Chango, who we're hopefully going to rise up through the wrestling ranks in the American world. For Clash Wrestling, what we have here, we have Todd Gordon is our owner. I don't really know who Todd Gordon is. All I know is Todd Gordon is very, very cheap. He works for $40 a show, and he actually told me the other day, because we're in so much debt, he's going to work for free, so that's absolutely fantastic. What I've already done through, I've gone through here, and I've bought in a referee, a guy called Tony Falk, who's coming in on the dirt cheap at $50 a show. He's not the cheapest we could have got, but he is cheap as far as where he's based and how much it'd cost me to get him in travel wise and things like that. And we've got a lot of other wrestlers here. They're all based in the southwest that I've bought in that we're going to make up a show on. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 shows a month. It's going to be an hour long, nothing too clever. What we want to do is we just want to get this popularity up. We've got to get this pop going up, and we want to throw our boy Terry Chango in the ring with some half decent people and start bulking these skills up and start getting some decent matches in. So that's the general setup early doors here. What I have done is I've already booked the first show, so I'm going to go through and we'll have a look at that one very quickly, and we can see how that's going to affect our size. And then from there on in, I'm going to work out a kind of schedule of shows that I do after that, because I'm not sure whether I'll do one video for each show because I think they'll be quite short and maybe a little bit boring. So what we might do is we might do a month, so that'll be a couple of shows, and they'll be quite condensed to start with, because really the start of any local to global or road to glory it's a grind at the start. It's about grinding out, getting that pop up straight away, and kind of avoiding going too far into debt. If there's anyone out there who's completed these challenges or done fairly well, please put in the comments any tips you've got, because I'm not always the best at these. I like to challenge myself on TEW just because it's a laugh. But yeah, anyone who's got any ideas of what I could do, that'd be absolutely fantastic, because it really helps along the way. So let's dive straight in. We have picked our venue for the evening, which is some school hall, I believe, in the middle of the southwest, which is costing me next to nothing. We've got a booking analysis screen here. The booking analysis is just telling me I don't have any announcers for any of my matches, which is fine, because at the moment we don't need announcers, and an announcer would just be an unnecessary cost, and we don't need to start hemorrhaging even more money when we don't need to. So let's just dive straight in with our matches that we've got here and see how we get on. So here we go. We have our opening chapter. These are the results from Train in Vain, held by Clash Wrestling. It's being held in front of 81 people in the Chandler High School. 81's not too bad. We have our owner, Todd Gordon, and what I should have basically said is, as well, we've also got a product which is called British Sportsmanship Wrestling, which basically means we just have wrestling matches, next to no angles. We don't need anything as far as storylines and all that going, so we're going to have really bare minimum amount of angles and a fair amount of wrestling. It's a really easy way to start when you start doing any of these challenges, just because I think creatively, if you're going to try and run storylines and things like that from the very get-go, it's really, really draining. But don't be afraid to do this, and then over time we can change that product to what we want to, because you know what, if you went to your local indie show, you're not going to see someone come out and cut a 25-minute promo like Triple H would on an episode of Raw. You're going to see people just randomly thrown together in matches. It's a kind of bit of family fun most of the time. Or if you're even going to the more extreme, more hardcore shows, if you're looking at these really bare bones, basic backyard kind of wrestling companies, they're not going to be having big, elaborate kind of products to start with. It will just be Wrestler A versus Wrestler B. So I think this is although some people might see it as a little bit of a cop-out, a little bit cheated, I think it's a really good place to start, because what we can do, change the product. If at any point you fancy you want to do something different, you think, do you know what, we want to go down a more hardcore route, we want to start doing this, we can do that. We've got absolutely all the freedom in the world to do that. There's other challenges that come from doing that, but once we get ourselves off the ground, we give ourselves a little bit more wiggle room to start doing a bit more with it. So at this moment in time, we've got Todd Gordon, our owner, coming out, cutting a promo. That's all we're going to need for the whole night. So he's come out there. It's got a segment rating of 24, which actually, at this level, pretty decent, to be fair. Our road agent, Dynamite D, who's also a wrestler. Again, what you want to be doing with these is you want to be kind of coming up with people who can do dual roles. So people who can be the road agent and people who can be referees and who will give you creative meat and all those kind of stuff is a ways of getting around that sort of stuff. Our first match is Pablo Marquez versus Terry Chango. And in about that decent wrestling but non-existent crowd heat, Pablo Marquez defeated Terry Chango in 12 minutes 20 seconds by submission. So our boy Terry having his first match, and he has lost, I'm afraid, which is a little bit sad, but I think that's what we've got to expect, because we are a newbie. We've got a wrestling rating of 25, a crowd reaction of 0. Now that doesn't matter, because Pablo Marquez is quite a decent worker, but he has 0 popularity where we are. And Terry Chango has got absolutely no popularity either, so that doesn't surprise me. Segment rating of 26, we'll take that all day long, that's pretty decent. So we've got a debut of Pablo Marquez's debut cocky gimmick, which has got a good rating, very good rating. Terry Chango anti-authority gimmick, and it's got an adequate, that's a bit sad. Tony Falco referee, doesn't matter about him. Marquez and Terry Chango don't click at all, and it showed in their performance, that's a bit annoying. Dynamite D, again, letting us down as a bit of a road agent. But maybe Dynamite gets binned off at this rate, because we do need to get someone who's going to do a half-decent job, but we'll see how that goes. Up next, we have Funky Billy Kim versus Shane Ballard. In a decent match, Shane Ballard defeated Funky Billy Kim in 15 minutes 16 seconds by pinfall with a wrestling rating of 25, crowd rating of 15, and a segment rating of 20. Oh, so Terry done better there, so that's pretty good. So Billy with a rating of 26, Ballard with a 25. very good for Billy Kim's Thrill Seeker gimmick, and Shane Ballard with his Sports Star gimmick getting a rating of great. That's really good. The bout dragged in the middle with a lack of flow being noticeable, and Dynamite D again being a bit of a letdown there, but that's okay. And we move on to our main event, which we've got a lot of red here, which is not great. We've got Kid Chaos versus Shannon Ballard. So I've got in Shane and Shannon Ballard, who are brothers, so that's kind of useful for the backstage. In a decent match, Shane Ballard defeated Kid Chaos in 10 minutes and 2 seconds. 25 for the rating of wrestling, 19 for the crowd rating, and the 23 for a segment overall. What have we got here? There's a lack of flow. Kid Chaos aimed off his game. Oh, they don't click at all either. Don't you know, that's so unlucky. How do you get two matches where they just don't click? And again, Dynamite D, he could have done a bit of a better job. So maybe Dynamite is going to get there. But that is our first show done. Do you know, it is as simple as that. In front of those 81 people that have come to watch us for the first time, this is what we do. We've got an overall rating of 23, and this is the real big thing here. This show has increased our popularity in one region. That seems like nothing, but this is going to be massive. This is what we want to grind our way through here. You know, we've got to get there. Should we address the locker room? I don't really think we've got much to say. Let's you know what? Because he had a bad night, we'll give him some encouragement. And we'll say Kid Chaos done a good job, didn't he? Here's a good example. We'll compliment on his good performance. Dynamite D seemed pleased. Yeah, he won't be pleased when I sack him, will he? But that's it. And Kid Chaos seemed pleased. Financial report. This isn't going to look too good. We sold $17 worth of merchandise. That's absolutely awful. $240 on our workers. $216 for our show cost. Marketing was $75. For an overall loss of $514. So we are now about $11,000 in the hole, which isn't particularly great, but you know what? I keep saying this. We're going to grind this out. We're going to get that pop-up, and you know what? What we'll start seeing, once we've got the pop-up to a fairly decent level, we can get people in, we can start selling tickets, and we will start selling a decent amount of merchandise. At the moment, we're a bunch of nobodies, so what can we really hope for? Popularity recap, and we've not even managed to get into the 1 yet. We're less than a whole number, but you know what? We keep this grind away and we'll eventually start seeing that number pick up. So let's hope for the best on the next one. Media scrum, not sure we'll be getting a media scrum anytime soon. But yeah, that is our first pay-per-view. It really is as simple, not pay-per-view, our first event. God, I'm getting ahead of myself here with pay-per-views. It really is as simple as that. It's going to be a long haul as far as getting up through the ranks goes. Like I say, I think these first few videos, it's going to be about grinding out those ratings and just getting Terry out in for some matches. What we want to do is start throwing him in there. We want to start bringing some more money in so we can get some better wrestlers in there and really start pairing him up with some really good people. Because what we want to do, ultimately, we don't really care what happens to Clash Wrestling. I know it's a bit sad, we've only just created it, but we don't care. We can bin them off at any time. What we want to do is we want to get Terry moving up. We want to get those skills and starting to improve. And we want to really see him getting up through the ranks. So let me know what you think about this whole idea of doing this kind of road to glory here as well. It's going to be a slightly different setup. You'll notice that I've got myself in the camera in the corner. Hello. Let me know if you like it looking like that, or if you prefer it just to be the screen of the game, if that's easier. Some people seem to want to like to see faces. Some people don't want to see faces. It's all a little bit of up in the air. It's all a little bit of try as we go along. I've got another couple of ideas for other saves going on at the moment, so I'm hoping to see real upturn in getting some more of my content out there, because I was really enjoying this before. A couple of the games went a bit wonky. I had a few problems with the computer and things like that, but we're all back and we're firing on all cylinders now. So let's see how we go. And you know what? Viva la Terry Chango. Let's bring it on.